Cool. Good morning, everybody. My name is David Worthams. I'm the chair of the Michigan Civil Rights Commission, and I am happy to call our meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, July 23rd, and the time is 10:01 a.m. At this point, to establish a quorum, will the clerk please call the roll?
Thank you. Commissioner White,
Present.
Commissioner Gasco,
Here.
Commissioner Barker,
Present.
Commissioner El Hassan,
Present.
Commissioner Roberson,
Present.
Commissioner Lara,
Present.
Commissioner Londo,
Present.
Commissioner Worthams.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Attorney Satchel. Just as a polite reminder to my colleagues, please do me a favor in efforts to help with the translations over the live stream. Please announce yourself by name prior to making any comments during the meeting today. With that, friends, the next item on our agenda is approval of the agenda. The agenda packet was emailed to you earlier. Hard copies are before you. Are there any changes or motions related to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Vice Chair.
I move approval of the agenda with one change, and that is under new business, adding item D, fiscal year 26 contingency planning, and then moving current item D to item E.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Chair Londo, seconded by Secretary Lara, to amend the proposed agenda to add a item D, fiscal year 26 contingency plan, under new business, and to make the existing item D an item E. Is there any objection to that motion? Hearing none, without objection, that motion is adopted. The question before us is adopting the agenda as amended. All those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed will say no. The ayes have it, and the agenda is adopted. Again, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's meeting. We want to thank our friends here at the Michigan State University for hosting us today. We are in the Big 10A Ballroom, for those of you who are interested on the live stream. We are in the Kellogg Hotel and Conference Center in East Lansing. As we continue the meeting, at this time, I will ask our General Counsel and Special Advisor, Lamont Satchel, to provide the role and the authority of the Commission for our audience.
Thank you.
Satchel, all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Michigan Civil Rights Commission was created by the Michigan Constitution in 1963 to safeguard constitutional and legal guarantees against discrimination. The Commission is charged with investigating alleged discrimination against any person because of religion, race, color, national origin, genetic information, sex, sexual orientation, gender identification, age, marital status, height, weight, arrest record, source of income, and physical and mental disability. The Michigan Department of Civil Rights was created in 1965 and serves as the operational arm of the Commission. Passage of the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act and the Persons with Disabilities Civil Rights Act in 1976 further clarified specific protections guaranteed under Michigan law. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Satchel. Moving on to item B under our opening matters. There are several significant observances during the month of July relevant to civil rights, and we would like to recognize the following. Firstly, that July is Disability Pride Month. It is the National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. On July 2nd, 1964, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was signed into law. And
Recording in progress.
Just so happens that we got recording in progress as well. Also, July 2nd is also the birthday of Associate Justice Thurgood Marshall. On July 18th, we celebrate Nelson Mandela International Day. On July 23rd, we celebrate the 60th anniversary of the Michigan Department of Civil Rights. And on July 26th, we celebrate the 35th anniversary of the Americans with Disability Act, or the ADA Act. Friends, as we come to our final opening matters item, this is item number C, we'll have, which will be public comments. We'll have Deputy Executive Director Kim Woolridge provide the public comment protocol for those who wish to give public comment. Deputy Director, take it away.
Excuse me. Good morning, Chair Worthams and Commissioners. To the public, please note there will be 2 opportunities for the audience to provide public comments during today's meeting. If attendees wish to speak during the public comment portion of the meeting, you must sign up and do so within the next 10 minutes by completing the public comment form right outside of the room. If you require assistance, please notify an MDCR staff member at the sign-in table. When it's time for public comment, Chair Worthams will call on attendees in the order in which we receive the request to speak. The public comment timeframe for speaking will be 2 minutes. There will be a visual timer showing the following colors: green for 2 minutes, yellow for 30 seconds, and red to stop. The timekeeper will verbally remind each speaker when 30 seconds remains. Please also be aware that MDCR staff will verbally warn any speaker only once if they use inappropriate, inflammatory, or disrespectful language. If use of that language continues, the speaker will be asked to stop commenting. Also, the Commission is the final judge of complaints that are filed with MDCR. Members of the public are not allowed to discuss open MDCR cases during public comment. That completes the public comment protocol, Chair. I turn the meeting back over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Woolridge. Friends, that'll bring us to item 4 on our agenda, which is the adoption of the consent agenda. The following items from the agenda have been identified as those that may not require commission discussion prior to being adopted or received. Items may be removed from the consent agenda at the request of any commission member. Items not removed will then be moved for adoption by general consent and without debate. This time, friends, I would like to ask, is there a motion related to the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
That is a motion?
I'm sorry.
A motion to adopt the?
Yes.
Thank you. Moved by Commissioner Elasan, seconded by Commissioner Roberson to adopt the consent agenda as presented. Is there any last-minute discussion or anything that needs to be polled? Seeing none. Those in favor of adopting the consent agenda will say aye.
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 Those opposed will say no. The ayes have it, and the motion carries, and the consent agenda as submitted is adopted. Next up, friends, on our agenda is item 5, approval of minutes from our April 28th, 2025 meeting. Are there any motions or comments or edits related to those minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the minutes from our April 28th meeting.
Support.
Moved by Vice Chair Londo, supported by Secretary Laura, to adopt the minutes of April 28th, 2025. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed will say no. The ayes have it. The motion carries, and the minutes from April 28th, 2025 are adopted. Friends, we've now reached our first opportunity for public comment. Again, we've heard the protocol earlier. I have one form that has been turned in. I think there's a second form on its way. But we will begin with public comment. Again, if our audience would like to, thank you, Sean, would like to make any comments, please make sure that Sean Sanford receives those forms, and we'll take them up in the order received. I want to remind you that you have 2 minutes to speak before the commission. Our timekeeper will be Mr. Mark Bishop, and we've received forms. And so let me first call upon Ms. Nancy Haynes of the Fair Housing Center of West Michigan. Hi, Nancy, how are you? Good. Don't worry, that didn't count for your 2 minutes. Go right ahead. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I submitted a memo because what I wanted to say is going to take a lot longer than 2 minutes. I'm the executive director of the Fair Housing Center of West Michigan. There are 4 other centers like ours in the state. We work really closely with the Michigan Department of Civil Rights. For years, we've been able to receive HUD funding, both for the FAP, which is the Michigan Department of Civil Rights, and the FIPS. We're the groups on the ground that are doing the education outreach. We're in the communities, getting the complaints, investigating those complaints, and vetting those complaints. And then when we try to resolve those, short of filing something administratively with HUD or the Department of Civil Rights most often. When that doesn't work, we do file with the Department of Civil Rights, and then we rely on them to do their piece. It's a symbiotic relationship, and unfortunately, HUD is threatening that. Our funding is being threatened. We haven't had FY24 grants, which were appropriated in the fall. We don't know anything about what's going on with the FY25 NOFO, and the FY26 budget plans to zero out the FIP portion of the FHEO budget. It has a misunderstanding that FAPs do all the work and FIPs do nothing. And so, what I'm asking you guys to do is first, perhaps write a letter to the Secretary of HUD, Secretary Turner, explaining the relationship between the FIPS and the FAPs. Every time I've lobbied in Washington, D.C., I've always argued for increased funding for FAPs because we really value the role that the FAPs play. So it'd be great to have that support from you guys. The second thing is maybe work with us to explore gap funding from the state, because I just don't know how we're going to do it, how we're going to go on without that federal money. Our money from our federal government is about 62% of our budget. And finally, I'm worried about how we're going to enforce the source of income protection that was just added on April 2nd, because HUD has now said that is not covered by the federal act, which is different from the Biden administration's interpretation, so we can't use any federal dollars to investigate those complaints.
Okay.
Thank
Nancy,
you.
thank you so much. I look forward to reading the memo.
You
as
can
well.
follow up with me if you have any questions. Thank you.
Most certainly will do. Thank you. Friends, I have another form before us. Mr. Sean Bennett. Yes, I am here. Sean, good morning. Thanks for being here.
It's good to be here.
And go right
I've
ahead.
attended many of these over the last 20 years. Haven't attended one in a while, but many indeed. My experiences with the department started 20 years ago, and I think that the central mission, there's many missions of this commission, but the lead foremost mission of the department that was created and funded, and employees and finances, is complaints. That is, people have complaints that they want to resolve. They couldn't or didn't get a lawyer, and they do want it resolved. Sometimes monetary damages is not the greatest goal in life. It's to fix misconduct. And so they come here. I have to report 20 years of extraordinarily bad experience with the department handling my complaints. I only have a couple minutes here now to say that, but I do want to put on the radar. The idea is who supervises the performance of the employees of the department. And I believe that the commission can play a role in the supervision of the performance of the department and how they handle complaints. And I believe that this is something that I would like to see done because I've seen too many complaints just summarily just thrown away and it's never resolved. And I have an issue that 20 years later, they're still engaging in misconduct. 20 years later, I have to report that the Sergeant of Arms and the Senate has called me up and said, you better not contact Shelley Hanselman, the ADA coordinator. This happened many years ago. It's never been resolved yet. I'm still trying to find out who the chief of the ADA coordinators here is now. I talked to Tyra last week. I'm still not clear. But my point is that they have not resolved a pattern of discriminatory harassment and intimidation at the very heart and the very soul of a democracy. And the example of them telling me not to report anything to Shelley Hanselman, which, by the way, I never have reported. It was a situation where I said,
Sean?
I'm going to call, I'm going to report in a few weeks.
Sean, I got to give you a heads up. We need to wrap that up.
All right. But anyway, so I wanted to just get this on the radar, and I hope that we can get the ball moving.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing, Sean. Next up, friends, I have a Mr. Fred Gruber. Hi, Fred.
Morning.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having your meeting on the same day as the 60th anniversary.
Go right ahead, Fred.
I'm just here to say hello. When I was with the department some 50 years ago, I attended my first commission meeting, and probably 25 years ago, my last one. I had the pleasure of working with the commission on Rule 12 cases, and it was an experience that I will never forget. It's probably the first good decision I made in my law career, and I have fond memories working with all of your predecessors. So I just wanted to say hello. Lots of stories I could tell you, but I think I'm going to be time limited. So I wish you well, and look forward to seeing all of you at the luncheon, correct?
Correct.
Okay, have a good one.
Well, we'll see you there, and I'm looking forward to some of the stories during the luncheon.
All right? Well, we can do that on another occasion.
Sounds
Thank you.
plan. Well, thank you, friends, for the public comment, and again, we'll have a second opportunity for additional public comments at the end of the meeting under item 11. Friends, we've now reached item 7 on our agenda, which is division and other reports. We will start with a report from our Executive Director, Attorney John E. Johnson, Jr. Director Johnson, good to see you, my friend. We have received your written report, but I will give you the floor and take it away.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning to the commissioners, to all the department staff who are here today, and all the other and guests who are with us in terms of being ready to celebrate our 60th anniversary later today. As you noted, you have received my report, and I'm just going to highlight a few matters in that report. I see we're in pretty good shape. I'm looking at the.
You're good.
All right. As I noted in my report, as of June 23rd, we're up to 206 full-time employees and 3 student assistants. And again, want to compare that to 83 FTEs at the end of September 30th, 2022. So once again, it just establishes the fact that we've had a number of extraordinary cooperation from the governor and from the legislature in funding this department, and allowing us to increase our employees from, again, 83 to 206. And you'll see the results of that as I continue this report. In terms of our budget, again, as you know, this year we started fiscal year 25 with a total budget of about $39 million, 26,000 being the ongoing funding, and then about 13,000 being in work projects that we've established over the past several years. Through the first 2 quarters of the fiscal year, we've spent about $14 million, excuse me. I spoke with Abdel Ali, our finance director, who assures me that we will not have a lapse this year in any ongoing funding as we did last year, that we'll use up all of our appropriated ongoing funding and then be able to dip into our work project money also to continue our activities. As for fiscal year 26, which begins on October 1st, we did submit, as you recall, 2 proposals for change affecting our development, innovation, and access division and our IT work. Those were recommended by the governor and approved by the Senate. That appropriation bill by the Senate has been sent on to the House, where it has had no action. There's been no action by the House in terms of budget, and as a result, we're unsure as to where we're heading into fiscal year 26 at this time. Again, with a recommendation of increase by both the governor and the Senate, but absolutely no clue from the House as to where they're heading on this. They have asked for information about the department regarding our staff and our physical space. In fact, a lot of departments receive those same inquiries, and they've been answered by the governor's office or state budget office on behalf of all the departments. We did not answer individually. It was a group response from the state budget office and the governor's office in response to some inquiries from the legislature. So I think I reported last time we did appear before the Senate on March 20th. They did approve our request. But since then, the state budget office has asked that we, along with other departments, submit a plan to reduce our fiscal year 26 appropriations by 15%. Again, there's no indication that's going to happen. They just want to be ready in case they need that information in order to be able to negotiate as they continue through trying to get a fiscal year 26 budget approved. So we did submit that, and it was in consultation with all the division directors. And as a result of that, of the uncertainty of our budget and even that request that we submit that plan, we've imposed a temporary hiring freeze in the department until everything is settled, and only hiring for essential positions, one of which is the director of our Office of Legal Affairs. So that's been vacant, and Attorney Alana Buford-Camerman has been filling that as working out of class, so we do need to fill that position. But we pretty much put a hold on everything else until our budget situation has been resolved and we know where we're heading. Want to move into the guts of this, which is our enforcement division. Want to applaud the enforcement division for the work they've been doing since we have received our increases, and we have received staff increases over in that division. We've provided outstanding service in terms of our EEOC work. We're right now asked for an upward modification of to 1,300 cases because that's what we're on track to do for this fiscal year. And in terms of our HUD contract, the same. We have totally fulfilled all the funding requirements under that. But I do want to give you just a picture of, I'm going to compare this July 2025 to July 2024, if I can share some numbers with you. So between October 24 and June of this year, we received 6,521 new complaints. That's compared to that same period last year of only 4,067 complaints. This time last year, we were averaging 693 complaints per month. Now we're averaging 725 complaints per month. During this period, between, again, October 1st and June, we completed 2,342 investigations. Last year, during that same period, we completed 1,534 investigations. As of June 30th, we have 2,628 open investigations, despite the increase in intake. Last year, this time, we had 3,195 cases, open cases. So despite the increase in intake, the non-cases, open cases has decreased. Finally, let's look at the backlog. Of the 2,628 open cases we have, only 914 are more than 1 year old. Again, compare that to a year ago. In terms of 2019 cases, 1 year ago, we had 16. There's only 3 now. In terms of 2020 cases, we had 51. There's only 1 now. As of 2021 cases, we had 220 backlog cases. There's 1 now. In 2022 cases, we had 507 cases. There are 20 now. In 2023, we had 366 cases. That has increased to 400. I'm sorry, it was 463, and that's decreased to 366. So overall, this has been a substantial decrease in the backlog cases. Hats off to Marcelina Trevino, Marlene Kane, and all the deputy directors for the investigations and closing the cases that they have is remarkable in terms of the progress that's been made and the work they've done in terms of decreasing that backlog. And then hats off to the Office of Legal Assistance under Attorney Buford Camerman, who has been very active in terms of bringing charges You certainly have one that you have now, and there's, I think, a couple more on their way. So we applaud the Enforcement Division for the work that they've done. I have a couple more minutes, so I just want to just briefly talk about our Community Engagement and Education Division. Again, the all-PAC work, advocates and leaders for police and community trust. Recall we had a $500,000 grant to give to the various communities. We've almost completed that. I think we've given grants to about 10 communities. We only have about $50,000 left, and that's reserved for Detroit. They're also active again in their Michigan Alliance Against Hate Crimes. There's been monthly seminars. I remind you that we're having our annual conference on that hate conference on September 10th right here at the Kellogg Center. Our DIA division, Development, Innovation, and Access division has been very active in terms of continuing on the language access plan. But more importantly, I think what you want to hear about is the Native American Boarding School Study Project. So the department and the Attorney General's office and the Office of the Governor continue to review the report drafts. We have distributed to all the tribes the first draft that was done, and certainly in a spirit of transparency to let them know what was done initially. I mentioned, reported we were not pleased with that. There's been substantial revisions based upon review by the AG's office and in cooperation with the governor's office. The final draft is currently scheduled to be completed by mid-August, and a consultation with tribal members is scheduled for August 28th. A final report will be submitted to me as soon as possible so we can submit a final report to the legislature by the end of the fiscal year. Again, continuing in terms of our Disability Rights and Compliance Division, continuing to do a self-evaluation and making sure that all of our documents that come out of our department are accessible. That standard has been set by Attorney Tyra Khan, and we're certainly doing the best we can to make sure that we comply with that. I refer you to Andy Uraski's legislative report. A number of bills have been introduced, but no action. I think there's been 6 bills that have been actually signed by the governor since the legislature convened in January. And finally, again, we had a very successful disability rights conference. A report is being compiled. And again, we look forward to our 60th anniversary celebration later this afternoon. That is our report, Mr. Chair.
Great, thank you, Director Johnson, for your report. Commissioners, friends, are there any questions or comments for the Director?
Chair.
Secretary Lara.
Yes, this is Secretary Lara. Thank you, Director Johnson. I think the progress has been really impressive, and I was looking at the numbers just like you were. Can you be, and I know that the staff in the department is really doing significant efforts in reducing, or I would call it improving all these numbers and the rate in which they're being completed. Can you just give us a little bit more detail as to why? Is it because we're able, or you're able to have more people in the department focusing on that, and that might be due to the budget increase?
John speaking, yes, it really comes down to additional resources, but also I think the spirit and the management technique of both Marcelina and Marlene have resulted in sort of teamwork among everyone that has resulted in this progress. So it's more than people, it's managing the people. And I think they've done an excellent job of doing that, of inserting a culture, one of teamwork, one of picking up for other people if they cannot do the work. There's one team that remarkably did almost twice as many cases as they were scheduled to do for an entire month. So it's a culture, I think, that's been instituted by those people at the top that have resulted in things and the attorneys working with I can't overstate that, because the whole point of the reorganization that I did 4 years ago was to bring the attorneys closer to the investigators, to make sure that they work together as teams to get these cases done. And the attorneys are providing advice and guidance to the investigators, to the managers. And so that team consists of a manager, an attorney, and investigators, and ad staff, and together they're being productive.
Thank you, Director. That's very encouraging.
Other questions or comments for the Director? Seeing none. Thank you, Director, again for your report. Next up, my friends, is our general counsel's report from Attorney Lamont Satchel. Good morning, Mr. Satchel. We've got your report in our binders, but if there's something to add, please take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. There's only one item that I need to report out on where there's been a change since my last report, and that relates to the comprehensive review of an amendment to our internal processes, specifically our amendments to the Commission and Department rules. For the benefit of members of the public who may have not heard us speak to this matter before, the Commission and the Department operate pursuant to a set of rules. These rules are created by both the Department and the Commission, and it sets forth how the Commission and the Department will operate in terms of the duties and obligations of the Department. These rules were amended last in 2022. Before that, they were last amended in 1979. Since a couple years ago, there have been some changes, some developments that have required us to make additional changes to our rules. We have done that. The rules have been prepared, submitted pursuant to the state's process for approving administrative changes to the administrative rules. We are currently at the stage, we just completed the stage of our regulatory impact statement. The regulatory impact statement requires a number of things. The primary thing that it requires is that each rule that you promulgate, that you change, you edit, you have to look at similarly situated states. In our case, we had to look at the rules or state laws of several Great Lakes states, which included Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana, Kentucky, New York, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, to see how do our rules compare with theirs in terms of the changes that we made. We've done that. That is prepared. It's under final review, and we expect that to file our regulatory impact statement before the 1st of August. After that's done, and assuming that the Michigan Office of Administrative Hearing and Rules, which we submit that regulatory impact statement to, assuming that they accept the statement and there are no changes, the next phase will be public hearing. We are anticipating a public hearing to coincide with the Commission's meeting in October. So again, once the regulatory impact statement is approved, we'll move forward with the public hearing as we did a couple years ago. And I apologize to Commissioner El-Hassan and her committee for stealing their thunder, because this is something that's in their bailiwick. But we will be submitting the regulatory impact statement to the Rules Committee for the Commission to review prior to sending it to MOHAR. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Satchel. Are there any comments or questions for the General Counsel? Seeing none, thank you so much again, Lamont, for your report. Next up, item C is a presentation on the Department's public portal from David Jones, who serves as the Deputy Director of Investigations for the Department's Enforcement Division. Mr. Jones, take it away.
If you don't mind.
Go right ahead.
Just a short comment. Let me just say, I want to add on to my comment earlier about the success of the Enforcement Division. Mr. Jones has been essential part of that. His training and what he's brought to the department in terms of training and protocol has been outstanding. His attention to detail. And even this is just an example. He was not scheduled to do this presentation, but he's able to step in and able to present to you on this portal. So I want to give Mr. Jones his props, because he's been absolutely very valuable in terms of the training, which has also helped in terms of doing the work that we do every day.
Thank you, Director. Go ahead, Dave.
Good morning, Commission Director. My name is David Jones. I am the Deputy Director of Investigations in our Detroit office for the Michigan Department of Civil Rights. I want to start by thanking MDCR leadership, our executive team, and the Commission for allowing me to do this presentation today. Such a large part of the way that we communicate with one another is the interpretation of the communication directed at us. Our willingness and ability to take information is nearly entirely subjective. to the mind state that we're in when we receive it. With that in mind, I want to ask you, before we begin the presentation, to take a second to think about the best customer service interaction that you've ever had. Think of what made that interaction so satisfying for you. Was it the ease of access to the agent addressing your issue, or was it the efficiency in which the issue was addressed for you? Did you just feel good knowing that there was somebody listening to you, that there was somebody there to listen to your concerns, to address those concerns for you? With those things in mind, I would like to reintroduce you to the Michigan Department of Civil Rights public portal and our new data visualization tool. So the most important part about providing a presentation or providing a training or anything is a shared language between groups. Before I can explain the tool, I believe it's important that we share that language and that we speak the same thing. So on the PowerPoint in front of you, we have a couple of terms that I'm going to be using today, and I want to make sure that we all understand those terms. So CRIS is our Civil Rights Information System. It's a web-based platform that investigators, our Community Engagement Division, our FOIA Division, everyone uses in order to track all of our items. The second term I want you to understand is activity. An activity is a point of engagement that's with the public, internally, externally, any sort of point of engagement. All of our activities are tracked, whether they come externally or internally. Every contact that a department has with somebody externally or internally is tracked within this system. A customer can be any individual or entity that engages with the department. The portal is going to be a web-based platform that entities, individuals, customers can interact with to engage with the department on a more individual level. And our data visualization tool is a means by which people of the state of Michigan can view case statistics, including leading issues, bases, and areas of complaint in their geographical jurisdiction. In order to understand how imperative or how impressive the benefits of this system can be and will be, it's important to share a little history of how the department receives and provides communication with customers. The Michigan Department of Civil Rights serviced over 15,000 customers, resulting in over 275,000 activities being entered into the CRIS system in fiscal years 23 and 24. Those are each individual contact made with a single person over 2 years. 275,000, over 275,000 of those activities took place over 23 and 24. These activities occurred in three methods mainly. Those are in person, a written letter, which is a fax, an email, some sort of writing, and a phone call or walk-in visit, and in person. During that time, MDCR was entering a period of growth. The number of staff members at that time pales in comparison to what we have today. Leadership, our executive leadership, recognized deficiencies in the tools staff members were provided, and executive leadership then worked to address those tools by providing staff with tools to better service customers of the state of Michigan. It's important to note the willingness of leadership to not only engage with the public and staff to identify areas of need, but also their swift and direct action in addressing those concerns with actionable, realistic goals and means to achieve them. So I want to give you some highlights of the portal. I would like to harken back to the beginning of this presentation when I asked you to think of a customer service experience you had that left you fulfilled, and to think about what specifically made you feel that way in that interaction. We believe the portal will provide many of those feelings to external and internal customers, while also providing staff members the tools to better address customer needs, while also more efficiently performing the duties of their positions. Our portal is based off the EEOC system, in which any person who is connected to a case can log in and access their case information. The portal provides a robust system for customers to engage with MDCR, and the portal also offers the department better means to track contact services and outcomes. The portal integrates established systems like MI Login, our CRIS system, and it allows them to speak to one another to better track contacts that happen, questions that come in, emails that are tracked, documents that are submitted, all without the investigator having to take the time to draft an email, move an email, or upload a document. It is an efficient process that will vastly improve the efficiency of our department. So I wanted to give you an example of how this is going to affect some of our larger divisions. Enforcement is our largest division. When you're looking at investigations, it is with the implementation of the portal that investigators will be more accessible to both claimants and respondents. Again, our executive leadership took into consideration staff concerns and addressed those concerns with over-contact, overbearing customers or consumers, or an inundation of documents. We have the ability to view things in real time, view messages and notifications in real time, and address those with customers as we see pertinent, in line with our policies, processes, and procedures. All parties have the ability to submit documents at any time. There is no more waiting for US mail. There is no more I typed in the wrong email address or I forgot.gov. You have instant access to provide us with any information that you choose to for our cases. It also provides customers the ability to follow their cases in real time to see the status updates. One of the biggest concerns that we receive from our customers on a daily basis is that we don't have enough accessible time for them. We are not there to answer the phone for them when they call. We don't email them back fast enough. We're not in the office enough when they come to visit us. This changes that wholly. There is no reason now that a customer can't log into the portal and immediately see the status of their case. The most recent note, the most recent action, the most recent effort that a CRI has made to investigate their case. Investigations are not the only thing that we do, though. I started here as an investigator, and I believe the central mission of our department is not only to investigate but educate. And the education is done through our community engagement division and our education division. This will immensely help them. It helps them track the trainings that we receive requests for. It helps them track the individuals who are in our system who have contacted us requesting documents, anything being sent to them. It gives them a platform to track everything that they need in one central place. And I want to move on to our implementation of our process. So the process to implement the portal has already begun. A slow rollout began June 2025, and the full rollout of the portal is expected to be completed in August of 2025. Currently, if you attempt to file a complaint with the Michigan Department of Civil Rights online, you are directed to the portal. Executive leadership understands that not all of our customers have the willingness or ability to engage the department through complicated or time-consuming means, and it was with that in mind that the portal was created to be simplistic and easy to engage with. Anyone can use this portal. Anyone who can log into an email address can log into our portal. To ensure that customers have a smooth transition from our old process to our new process, guides have been set up to walk customers through the registration process, the complaint creation process, and the user process. These guides include video tutorials, a dedicated customer support email address, and internal trainings for all staff members to ensure that customers at every single level have the ability to find assistance when and where they need it. There is no time where you will not be able to find assistance if you are having an issue with the portal. I come from a numbers background, so statistics are extremely important to me. If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense, and it's not worth a squeeze. So the statistics that are in here are updated as of today. I have the most recent statistics. Monday, June 9th at 2025 at approximately 3 p.m., the MDCR public portal was successfully launched for public use. As of today, there have been 357 public users who created accounts. That number was run today. As of today, there have been 213 requests for services that have been submitted through the portal. That means 213 queries for cases, requests for training, requests for FOIA have come into the portal. There have been 86 portal messages sent back and forth between investigators or MDCR staff and individuals who are using the portal, and there have also been 246 documents submitted to the portal by users. This is through a soft rollout. This is with no guides, no user tutorials. This is just us placing it on the website and having users sign up. With a full rollout, with the plan that the executive team has established, this will revolutionize the way that we are able to engage with staff members and our external customers. The last thing I want to talk to you all about is the data visualization tool. And I practiced saying that word a number of times this morning in front of the mirror, so I did not mess it up. So, our data visualization tool is extremely unique to the Michigan Department of Civil Rights. With all the strides the department has made to improve customer service interactions and satisfaction, it became imperative to assist the public in seeing the benefits of the work that we do and how it's ingrained with the day-to-day lives, or with their day-to-day lives. With that in mind, the executive leadership team has made it a goal to ensure MDCR has clear and transparent metrics, policies, and procedures. In keeping with that goal, the department has endeavored to create a data visualization tool. And this is for public view. For anybody who comes to our website, you will be able to view these statistics. The data visualization tool will provide individuals access to view aspects of the work that MDCR does across the board. This means with this undertaking, we have individuals who can, in real time, see the statistics at a glance for the work that staff members are doing. The benefit of this process is multifaceted, but at its core, it allows citizens to see the vital work that MDCR does and how aspects of our duties correlate with their individual everyday lives. Think of wanting to know the amount of investigations MDCR has completed in your zip code. How many race-based complaints has MDCR taken in Ferndale, or Royal Oak, or Detroit, or Marquette? In real time. It updates every morning, and this is public access for all people to view. The specific types of data that will be available are a breakdown by geographical area and area of complaint and bases. So you get to see the minutia, or you get to see it at a large scale across the state of Michigan. You get to see the number of complaints being taken, including certified complaints and all our complaints processed, and the number of case issues that are being resolved for our agency, showing the work that we do. Having access to the data above will allow people access to data in a way that they have never been able to see before from our department. Again, I use the word revolutionary, and I don't use that word lightly. The leadership team that has come in has revolutionized the way that we do things. They have modernized us and pushed us forward to a position where we have not been before. And all of this is available for free to the public on our website. The last thing I want to talk about before I open to questions, if there are any, is just some key talking points about our portal and our data visualization tool. The key things that I want you to take away from this is we understand we are public servants. We are here to serve the public, and we want to do that in the best way possible. We want to do it efficiently and effectively, using the time that we are given to provide individuals with prompt customer service and remediation of their issues. These tools help us do that like nothing has before. We also want to make sure that people are able to see the work that the Commission does and that the Michigan Department of Civil Rights does. And with this data visualization tool, they will be able to see every day the effect that we make on the people of the state of Michigan. I just want to thank the Commission, our executive leadership team, and some of my staff who came to see me present. Thank you.
Well done, for sure. Before I open this up to questions, I'm just going to exercise the chair's prerogative and take the first question. I think this is absolutely fantastic. And I think if other departments take a look at what this is, they will want to mimic it, they won't put it in a bottle, probably sell it, make some money off of it, because it's that good, okay? My one question that I have, and this is mainly just because I was just recently up in northern Michigan, how does the portal, particularly the video guides, how does that work in those areas of the state that might have bandwidth issues?
I love that question. One of the key things that we look at for the Michigan Department of Civil Rights is inclusion. And it's not just inclusion based on race or sex or gender. It's inclusion based on where you live, how you live, and the things that are provided to you. We want to make sure that everybody has access. So we cut these clips into short video tutorials. So if you're looking at bandwidth where you're only getting 50, 60 meg downloads a second, you're still gonna be able to watch these videos. These are available on your phone for download. These are available on YouTube. We make this available to the public in any and every way possible because we want them to come to us. We need them to come to us. So that is a key indicator. It's one of the things that we absolutely had to have. And that's why we cut those videos into short, bite-sized, fully ingrained media for everyone to enjoy.
Excellent, thank you. I think the last thing that, by the way, this is David Wortham's chair. Last thing that I would add, and I will stress this to the director, and I'll stress this to Annie as well. I think we need to show this, do almost a hands-on tutorial with the chairs of the legislators' oversight committees, and I think the chairs of the judiciary committees in both the House and the Senate. Because I think once those chair people, both sides of the aisle, they see what we're doing here, that will help with future budget discussions. And I would love to see the success of that in the future. With that, are there any other questions or comments? Commissioner Roberson.
I just wanted to say that this blows me away. I mean, we have talked since I've been on the commission about making the department and the commissioners more accessible to people across the state. So I have not seen anything that will have the sort of impact that this has. So just kudos to the executive team, but also kudos to you, Mr. Jones. And as a joke, I mean, I have some jobs at Focus Hope that I may be recruiting you for. I know, nobody will let me take them, but.
Can we turn off the microphone?
I'm recruiting right here, right now. But no, seriously, this is, I mean, I think one of the complaints we've heard most of all is the ability to communicate with the department, right? That's what the commissioners have heard over and over again. I reached out, I didn't get a call back. I wasn't able to figure out what was going on. I know we've all probably gotten emails saying the same. So just kudos and congratulations to you for implementing this. I echo what Chair Wortham said. I think this could be shown across the state and certainly within state departments, and they would be remiss to not try and duplicate something like this. So,
Commissioner Alassane.
Zena, good morning. Thank you so much. Fantastic presentation, and my best customer service experience to date. So to answer your earlier prompt, that was it. I think this question is directed more to Director Johnson. On your budget discussion, your proposals for change. The second PFC for nearly $768,000 to enhance technology capacity. Is any of that budgeting for, it's worth every penny spent. I'm just curious if that's.
No, that's future dollars. This has already been appropriated.
Okay, and then I suspect that any sort of technology has an annual subscription fee and maintenance fee and whatnot. So to Chair Wortham's point about sort of educating our legislators about what's going on here, this can certainly pique their interest in making sure they appropriate budget dollars for this sort of technology because it is very necessary. It's going to be very useful and it's going to make a impact in how the department functions and operates. So, yeah, I just think as we move forward in budget discussions, this is something that should be brought up.
Secretary Lara.
Thank you, Commissioner Gloria Lara. First of all, kudos. This is absolutely amazing, and I'm speaking as a digital native of over 50 years. So that was back in the punch card era. But, and I actually called up the site on my phone while you were talking just to see if one of my questions was already answered, which is how accessible is it by phone, and what does it look like by phone? And so I know that in a lot of areas, I'm from the Grand Rapids and on the west side of the state, and so I know a lot of northern Michigan as well. They have very limited broadband services, and so many people, particularly underrepresented people, use the phone as their digital connection. And so I'm really, really glad to see that that's able to be done. A couple questions of accessibility. How accessible would this be for people without the capability to use the internet? And I'm not talking about bandwidth, but you have someone who's in their 70s or 80s, and it's like I don't know how to do this.
I appreciate the question, Commissioner, and I am happy to answer it. I'm glad you brought up accessibility because I would be remiss to not also mention that our portal is available per our language access in 3 different languages starting off, so Spanish, Arabic, and Bengali, along with English. So we do have that access plan in process. But
Excellent.
related to specifically the bandwidth issue, I think we covered, it is accessible by phone. People's cell phones are their lifelines. I don't know if you've ever touched your pocket and not felt your phone and you have that little mini heart attack. But we wanted to make sure that it is accessible for everyone, and we've done that. Related to individuals who have difficult times using technology, that's a large base that we have. We are not stopping assisting people via phone, via in-person, via U.S. mail. We will still provide the same customer service, the same care, and the same grace that we would for any other individual. But the training that we are doing internally teaches our staff members how to assist those individuals in setting up those profiles. So I can't teach patience, right? I've sat with my grandmother and tried to set up an email address any number of different times, and it just never worked out. But we can teach our staff to take the time to make the concerted effort to ensure that these individuals have the same access that everyone else has, and the training method that we use fully prepares them to do that.
Great, thank you so much. This is amazing, thank you. I've been looking forward to having this implemented for a few years. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Chair Londo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Luke Londo speaking. As a child of technology, I just have to share how excited I am at this portal being available. Government is not typically synonymous with innovation, so I'm happy to see our department sort of dispelling that notion. My question is, does this portal employ artificial intelligence? And to the extent that it does it comply with the guidelines this body passed at our Alpena meeting last year?
I can answer the question. So we do not use any AI technology within our portal. It is accessible, so our customers use AI to generate descriptions for their complaints that they send to us, and it is cohesive with those units because it assists them in getting their message across. So there's no issue with them using it, but we do not internally use any AI projects. The director has been heavily invested in learning how the department can interact with AI in the best forms and fashions. I know there was a conference that just recently happened involving AI that our Director of Enforcement went to, Marcelina Trevino. But at this time, we do not have any AI portions for our portal.
Thank you.
Seeing no other comments. Mr. Jones, thank you so much. This was awesome.
Thank you, Commissioner.
The last item we have under division and other reports, item D, is the Attorney General report from Assistant Attorney General Heather Meingas. Heather, take it away, please.
Good morning, everyone. As usual, I will go through this report quickly because you have a very thorough report in front of you. So on your list, we have the court case of American Freedom Law Center versus former Director Arbulu. I do have an update on this case. This was a federal lawsuit where the plaintiff had been raising sort of First Amendment violations for press releases and some statements that were made way back in 2019. However, this case has now been dismissed, so we will be taking that off the report. It's not expected that there would be any appeal, so that finally concludes this fairly old litigation. Below that, you have the case of Ayala versus City of Grand Rapids. This is one of your Grand Rapids Police Department complaints. This started out as an enforcement action where we were seeking to enforce discovery on behalf of the department. However, it has now been stayed in light of a different court case, which is the third one on the list here. So the Ayala matter has been stayed pending resolution of the City of Grand Rapids case versus MDCR, which is the litigation that the City of Grand Rapids brought against the department to challenge, to essentially try to incorporate the 3-year statute of limitations for ELCRA actions into administrative proceedings. So that Grand Rapids case, it concluded in the in the Court of Claims, and we are now in the Court of Appeals, where it is fully briefed, and we are just awaiting notice of oral argument. Next on our list, we have the case of Mr. Williams versus the MDCR. This litigation is concluded in the Federal District Court. It is now pending in the Sixth Circuit, where it is fully briefed and awaiting a decision. Essentially, this was a lawsuit filed over the dismissal of Mr. Williams's MDCR complaint. The next two cases are probably our most significant cases, which is the Christian Healthcare Centers versus Attorney General et al. And the Sacred Heart of Jesus Parish, Grand Rapids versus Attorney General et al. These are two federal court cases essentially challenging the ELCRA's lack of a religious exemption with respect to the protections for gender identity and sexual orientation. So these are back in the district court from a trip to the Sixth Circuit and back, and we are moving our way through discovery, and we'll head towards summary judgment briefing later this summer and into the fall. So those are moving along. The next couple of cases that we have are Pickett versus MDCR. There's actually two cases. We have original civil litigation that Mr. Pickett filed against the MDCR, which it's in Circuit Court in Ingham County. That is essentially an ELCRA action against the MDCR, claiming that the dismissal of his complaint was violated the ELCRA itself. He has tied that with an administrative appeal also, so he's properly appealed the dismissal, but he's also trying to bring an original sort of civil complaint against the department for the dismissal of that complaint as well. So those are both proceeding along. You'll recall Studio 8 Hair Lab versus City of Traverse City was essentially a case brought by Studio 8 Hair Lab, if you remember, is the hair salon in Traverse City where the business owner made sort of discriminatory statements concerning transgendered individuals. A complaint was filed with the MDCR that's been investigated. It's actually has gone to a charge and through a hearing. The plaintiff in this case tried to sort of forestall the administrative action by filing in civil court. They did not prevail on that. We are now in the Court of Appeals, where it is fully briefed, and we're awaiting notice of oral argument. Moving down the line here, where we have sort of more typical appeals from dismissals, Rob Nicole versus MDCR is simply an administrative appeal of a dismissal of this individual's complaint. So too is the Clanton versus Target appeal. Mr. Clanton's complaint was dismissed, I believe, for insufficient evidence. The Gardner versus MDCR is also a typical administrative appeal from the dismissal of a complaint. That's ongoing. Rumpf versus MDCR is also an administrative appeal of the dismissal of a number of complaints. This remains pending before the Circuit Court in that matter. And you'll see at the end of your report, we have a number of enforcement cases. So the enforcement cases are where the department has asked the Attorney General's office to go to court to help enforce orders of discovery that the MDCR is pursuing, but the respondents have been recalcitrant in responding to discovery. So if you look at those, you'll see that they are actually a number of cases, but involve two employers. So we have two enforcement actions against the Henry Ford Health System, or actually, are they all Henry Ford? Looks like they're, I don't know if I did that or not. All of those are Henry Ford Health System enforcement actions, and so those are just pending right now. And so that's it.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for the Attorney General? Thank you so much for your report. Friends, that'll complete division and other reports and brings us to commission business, which the first item is a report from me. I can tell you that the bulk of my report has been covered in the consent agenda and in the executive director's remarks. I will highlight that the legislature continues to hold discussions in their attempts to reach an agreement on the fiscal year 25-26 budget. Hopefully, the leaders will find consensus and will be able to adopt this budget before the end of the fiscal year in September. The other item I'll highlight is that the Executive Director's Assessment Committee has completed our development of an assessment tool, which will be more fully discussed during our closed session in a few moments at the request of the Executive Director. Lastly, I want to compliment the Department's Director of Strategic Initiatives and Public Information, Harold Core, and his team for their work on organizing the several My Response to Hate events throughout the state. Secretary Laura and myself attended a session in Zeeland earlier this year, and I continue to be impressed with the proactive work of the department in tackling the need to respond to hate crimes with positivity. So my congratulations to the entire team. With that, the next item under commission business will be committee updates. As you know, each year we set priorities of special interest for the year that we as a commission will focus on and that align with the work of the department. Additionally, we have formed committees to take the lead and focus on their assigned priority and bring recommendations to the commission regarding next steps, which may include but are not limited to holding special meetings, public hearings, listening sessions, and so forth. The committees for 2025 include the Standing Committee on Rules, the Standing Committee on Budget and Policy, the Standing Committee on the Executive Director's Assessment, and the DEI Priority Committee. Let's begin today with a hearing from the Standing Committee on Rules, which consists of Commissioner El-Hassan as the chair, Commissioners Laura and Commissioner White. Commissioner El-Hassan, you have the floor.
Thank you again, Commissioner Al-Hassan, reporting out. I'm going to refer back to, and he did not steal my thunder, because he's actually doing the thunder, the lightning, the rain, between General Counsel Lamont Satchel and his team within the department. They've done a yeoman's job of making amendments to our internal processes, which includes revisions and edits to the rules. And so, as you heard earlier, that will be presented at public hearing, or those edits and amendments will be presented at a public hearing during our October commission meeting. So thank you, General Counsel Lamont, for your work and the team's work and the wonderful report you gave on my behalf, even though you didn't know you were giving it on my behalf.
Thank you, Commissioner El-Hassan and the Rules Committee. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next update from the Budget and Policy Committee, which consists of Commissioner Roberson serving as the chair and committee members Commissioner Barker and Vice Chair Londo. Commissioner Roberson, all yours.
Chair Worthams, I think as Commissioner El-Hassan said, you actually delivered my report in some way. As you all know, where we are with the budget right now, so we continue to monitor that and make sure that, and make certain that we have the right people in place to be asking for the consideration that the director has already asked for in terms of the budget. And I think today's presentation also alerted us to the fact that we may need to add for additional dollars going forward for the presentation by Mr. Jones to make sure that we can supplement that for years going forward. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you.
Oh, thank you, Commissioner Roberson. Any questions or comments? Thank you again. That'll bring us to our next committee update from the DEI Priority Committee, which consists of Vice Chair Londo serving as the chair and committee members Commissioners Gasco and White. Mr. Vice Chair, all you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Luke Londo speaking. As the continued guidance around policy around DEI changes every day, members of the committee continue to explore impactful ways to advance the cause of DEI, especially as it relates to AI discrimination. And I expect that we will have substantive recommendations at our October meeting, including action to bring before the commission.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Any questions or comments? Very good. The last item under committee updates then is the Standing Committee on the Executive Director Assessment. And frankly, friends, we're going to be doing a lot of that work in our executive session that'll be coming up, which was requested by the Executive Director. So we will waive that and save some time. With that, I think we have now reached that moment in the meeting where we will head into closed session. Again, Commissioners, we have an item before us dealing with the Executive Director's performance evaluation, and Director Johnson has formally requested a closed session. So at this time, in accordance with the law, I will entertain a motion to convene a closed session for the discussion of this personal matter.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Vice Chair.
At the request of the Executive Director, I move that the Commission go into closed session in accordance with MCL 15.268, subsection A of the Michigan Open Meetings Act to discuss personal matters related to the executive director's performance evaluation.
We have a motion to go into closed session. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Vice Chair Londo, seconded by Secretary Lara, to go into closed session. This requires a record roll call vote, and so I will turn to the clerk to call the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioner White,
Present.
I indicate by saying
Yeah,
yes.
Those in favor of going into closed session will vote aye. Those opposed to going in closed session will vote no, and the clerk will call the roll.
I'm sorry. Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner White,
Aye.
Commissioner Roberson,
Aye.
Commissioner Gasco,
Aye.
Commissioner Barker,
Aye.
Commissioner El Hassan,
Aye.
Commissioner Lara,
Aye.
Commissioner Londo,
Aye.
and Commissioner Worthams.
Aye. A sufficient number of members voting in the affirmative, the commission will now go into closed session as that motion carried. So at this time, we ask that everybody, except for the members of the commission, Director Johnson, and Attorney Satchel, clear the meeting room temporarily so that we can go into closed session. I show the time as 11:11. Following closed session, we will reassemble back in this meeting room to continue the final 4 agenda items, which would be new business, public comment, and commissioners' closing comments in the final adjournment.
Chair, why don't we go into the other room and
Let them stay?
I think we need to stay here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was-
logistically, I think we need to
Oh,
stay.
We have to stay. 'Cause we have to-
I need the audiovisual team to please turn off the microphones. The Zoom recording will continue. Let us also have the timekeeper post a sign online indicating that we will reconvene following closed session. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much, everybody.
Has not always been the case. So I know that there are going to be discussions about a number of items related to the executive director, but I just wanted to put on the record sort of how I personally, and I think some of my fellow commissioners have come to some of the decisions personally that they, about the status of the executive director.
Thank you, Commissioner Roberson. Matter of fact, let me echo that as well. My experience, granted, I've been here a couple of years, fewer than you have, but in that entire time, in my role as a regular commissioner, as vice chair, and now as chair, the executive director has gone over and beyond what can be expected of him. The leadership that he has shown, the communications with me that he has shown, his forward thinking, the proposal for change, the improved interactions with the legislature. These are things that definitely deserve kudos, if not other items of celebration for him. So I am glad that he is our executive director, and I am hopeful that as we finish today's meeting, that perhaps we will be able to recognize him in other ways. So that being said, we're back to a matter of compensation adjustments for the executive director. Are there any motions or comments related to the executive director's compensation for fiscal year 25?
I believe, if I may, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Roberson.
I move to approve a 3% increase for Executive Director Johnson for fiscal year 2026, which is consistent with increases for other department employees.
Let me step you back here. We need to talk about fiscal year 25 first, then we can talk about 26. So this would be,
I know.
Yeah, I know, but I was just going on the agenda. So
Yeah.
the agenda lists compensation first.
Compensation.
For 25.
for 25.
Compensation
Okay,
adjustment.
then the bonus was- Okay.
Yeah, the bonuses for 20, bonuses for.
Yeah. No, I-
Gotcha, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I echo the sentiments.
Wait a minute, I think I have to withdraw my motion.
Yeah.
If you're okay with it, with
I
no
am.
objection, okay, we'll
I'm
withdraw
absolutely
that.
okay with it. My apologies.
Representative El Hassan.
Yeah, I
Commissioner
echo the
Ellison.
sentiments that have already been noted on the record in support of, I know we're talking about compensation originally, looking at 2026 and looking ahead. But a lot of the things that were noted are obviously taken into account when you consider whether someone is deserving of a bonus. As a matter of fact, one of the commissioners asked, what do we look at? What sort of criteria do we look at when assessing whether a bonus is appropriate or not? And it's not just someone doing their job, right? That's the expectation at the surface. It's really going above and beyond and exceeding expectations in so many respects. And the director has done that time and time again. Just by way of example, and he shared out earlier today, with the increase in FTEs, just by way of comparison, when you look at the 2022 numbers, we had a total of 83 FTEs at the end of 2022. We now have a total of 206. So just managing a team of that magnitude and not getting any complaints. You know, we've many of us have been serving on the commission for a number of years and have gone through other directors. We have our own sort of jobs, and we know that when you're in a supervisory capacity, sometimes you have to look to employee morale and see, how is the team doing with leadership style. And there have been no questions or concerns with the manner in which Director Johnson has led. That's just one very simple factor, not utilizing the sort of talent that he's got in his department. You saw that firsthand today when David Jones presented on the new technology. That's giving staff autonomy and giving them sort of, developing their skills even professionally. So the ability of a manager to do that is just, at least for him, has been exceptional. And then, beyond that, he's just been exceptional in his responsibilities, both to the department and to this commission. And so we think it's appropriate to provide him with a bonus, and we'll get into that if there are no other questions or comments as it relates to at least the 2025 bonus.
I think we're ready for that motion.
I move to approve a 5% one-time performance bonus for the executive director for fiscal year 2025, which has also been provided to similarly eligible department employees.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner El Hassan, seconded by Commissioner Robertson, to approve a 5% one-time performance bonus for the executive director for fiscal year 2025, similar to that has been provided to similar eligible department employees. Any further discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed will say no. The ayes have it, the motion carries. Congratulations, Director, you got a bonus.
Thank you.
Next, we have a item about the appointment of the executive director. The current agreement appointment for the executive director ends, I believe, on August 1st of this year. And it would be appropriate at this time to try to figure out if we need to find a new director or if we want to continue his appointment. And so are there any motions or comments related to the executive director, the appointment of the executive director?
Mr. Chairman?
Vice Chair Londo.
Yeah, I don't want to be vice president.
I was like, whoa.
In keeping with tradition, typically these appointments are for 4 years, and I see absolutely no reason to break precedent. So with that in mind, I move that the commission extend the executive director's appointment for a period of 4 years, beginning August 1st.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved by Vice Chair Londo, seconded by Vice Chair, I'm now getting two vice chairs. Clearly, I'm hungry. Seconded by Commissioner El Hassan to extend the executive director's appointment for a period of 4 years. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor will say aye.
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 Those opposed will say no. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and we've hired I guess we're keeping the executive director.
Hired.
Next item we have is the compensation for the executive director for fiscal year 26. Are there any motions or comments related to that?
Yes, Chair, I jumped the gun a little while ago, so now I'll make my motion. You all have already heard my thoughts about Executive Director Johnson. So I move to approve a 3% salary increase for Executive Director Johnson for fiscal year 2026, which is consistent with increases for other department employees.
Is there a second?
Support.
Been moved by I'm just making everybody a state representative. Moved by Commissioner Robertson, seconded by Vice Chair Londo to provide a 3% base level rate increase for the executive director's compensation for fiscal year 2026. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed will say no. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and the executive director has a raise.
Thank you.
Assuming we get a budget.
Friends, the next item under new business, the new item D that we had added under our earlier adoption of the agenda, deals with the fiscal year 26 contingency plan. As you know, based on my report, the legislature continues to have
I'm sorry,
conversation.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, for the interruption. I think that there's an item D, which is called a resolution, but it should be a proclamation.
Yeah, we moved that to item
okay,
D.
okay.
So give me 5 minutes. We'll get
All right.
Anyway, as you heard in my report, friends, the legislature continues to have discussions about the budget. We don't know if that's going to be done by the time we get to the end of the fiscal year, and so it's appropriate for us to think about contingencies of what would happen in a partial or a full shutdown of the state government in case a budget does not get adopted or a continuation budget gets adopted by October 1st. And so along those lines, I think it's appropriate that we take a look at who would be essential personnel who would have to make sure that the lights stayed on in the event that the state government had to shut down. And so along those lines, I think it would be appropriate for us to give the executive director the ability to determine those persons, to let us know in writing who those persons are, and to take whatever other steps are necessary to make sure that the department is continuing to function at a minimal level in the event that we don't have a budget by October 1st. And so I throw that out there, and I'm open to any motions or comments about that topic that anyone may have.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Vice Chair.
Luke Londo speaking. Just to echo your sentiments, this is certainly just housekeeping. This is a body that meets quarterly. We haven't had the situation where at our July meeting where we haven't had a budget. So in line with that and just preparing for the worst case scenario, knowing that it won't become necessary, I move in the event that it becomes necessary to empower the executive director with the authority to designate employees necessary to allow for minimal but essential operations of the department and assist and support the commission in its constitutional and statutory role and duties, and to provide such information in writing to the commission.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded by Vice Chair Londo and Secretary Lara. You sure you don't want it? You'd be good. To grant the, let me see your language real quick. To grant the executive director the ability to designate essential personnel in the event that it becomes necessary to keep the department operating during a potential shutdown. Is there any further discussion on that? Seeing none. Those in favor of granting the executive director that ability will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed will say no. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. And the executive director, you are empowered to do what you need to do during if we don't get a budget. That now brings us to item E, which is it's listed as a resolution commemorating the department's 60th anniversary, but it's actually a proclamation. And I believe that was included in your packets in advance. Are there any comments or motions related to that proclamation?
Mr. Chairman.
Vice Chair Londo.
Nailed it. I move the following proclamation. A proclamation in recognition of the 60th anniversary of the Michigan Department of Civil Rights. Whereas the 1963 Michigan Constitution, the 1976 Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act, and 1976 Persons with Disabilities Civil Rights Acts and subsequent amendments all charge the Michigan Civil Rights Commission with protecting the people of Michigan from acts of discrimination, and whereas it would be impossible to secure the equal protection of civil rights without a dedicated staff of investigators, attorneys, mediators, and other supporting staff, and whereas it would also be impossible to promote voluntary compliance with civil rights laws through education and outreach without a dedicated staff of trainers, community relations experts, and other supporting staff, and whereas protections against discrimination are necessary for a healthy, productive, and just Michigan, where everyone can live, work, and play without undue restrictions based on protected characteristics, and whereas in 1963, Michigan became the first state in the country to establish a Civil Rights Commission, and the Commission immediately recognized the criticality in establishing a Department of Civil Rights to serve as its operational arm, and whereas in 1965, the Michigan Department of Civil Rights was established with a mission enshrined in Michigan's Constitution to investigate alleged discrimination and to secure the equal protection of civil rights. And whereas, since 1965, the Michigan Department of Civil Rights has consistently and passionately enforced Michigan's civil rights laws to protect residents and visitors from unlawful discrimination. And whereas, over the years, MDCR staff have regularly researched, written, and released reports on a variety of civil rights issues, from the Flint water crisis to the annual reports. And whereas, staff have been responsible for gathering public servants, community organizations, and civil rights leaders from all over the state for civil rights conferences in 1983, 2006, and 2022 through 2025, and therefore be it proclaimed that the Michigan Civil Rights Commission recognizes and applauds the Michigan Department of Civil Rights and its countless staff for its 60 years of leadership and vigorous enforcement of protections against discrimination, and it is further proclaimed that the Michigan Civil Rights Commission recognizes that the work of the Michigan Department of Civil Rights remains as critical today as it was in 1965.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Vice Chair Londo, seconded by Commissioner Roberson to adopt the proclamation celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Department of Civil Rights. Is there any comments or discussion? I'll have some comments during our celebration later today, so I'll save those for them. All those in favor of the proclamation will say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed will say no. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and the proclamation is adopted. Friends, that completes new business. Thank you for all your wonderful work today. We now have reached our second public comment opportunity, and we will continue to follow the same protocol as set forth by Deputy Director Woolridge earlier in the meeting. Mark Bishop will continue to serve as timekeeper, and I believe we have one form. Thank you, Ms. Sanford. We have a request from Tanya Cole for public comment. Tanya. Hi, Tanya. Come on up to the microphone.
Why, you look beautiful. Are we excusing?
Tanya, thank you for being here. You've got 2 minutes.
I'm here today because I needed to address the board members because for over 30 years, and I'm emotional, I've not been able to get, and I have no civil or constitutional rights. And I've been coming to the civil rights since 1989, and I have not had any luck. I was sexually harassed, and I've been retaliating against ever since then. They still coming after me. The County of Saginaw. I work for the Sheriff Department, and I have no rights, no civil or constitutional rights, and I have no help at all. I don't have no right to police protection. I don't have no rights to a lawyer. I don't have the rights to nothing. I bought a house, I paid cash for it. They took it from me. I came to the Michigan Department of Civil Rights. They didn't do anything about it. I had a whole lot of proof and everything. They didn't do anything around it. I got sexually harassed. When I got sexually harassed, the worker took the case, and then while she was investigating, the same guy pulled his penis out to another employee, and he had tried to have sex with another employee. Civil Rights still denied my claim because they said the County of Saginaw told them to deny it. Every time I come to the Michigan Department of Civil Rights, they do nothing. All they do is just deny my claims or don't do an investigation because they said the chief circuit court judge and the county's attorney told them not to help me. I'm here today because I need some help, and I've been trying to get in touch with the board ever since then. I send letters and stuff, but I never hear nothing back from you guys. So I'm here today. I drove 2 hours to get here so I can talk to you guys. Every job I get, they intervene, and I lose it. They take I keep getting falsely arrested, me and my son. Even my daughter was killed because I filed a charge against them. They had some informants, according to the informants, they said they told them to hit me head on. I got hit head on, and my 3-year-old daughter got killed as a result of that. And then they keep going after me, falsely arresting me, and defaming me, meaning the County of Saginaw and their attorneys. I need some help. I can't get no lawyers. Even when they keep doing those false arrests, I have to represent myself. Because if I don't, the lawyers tell me, the court-appointed attorney, she say, if you don't take a plea, then I can't help you. So I said, I'm not going to take a plea. So therefore, she don't help me, and so I had to represent myself, and I kick them all out.
Sure, I'm sorry, so the time has expired, I'm sorry, but thank you for bringing it to our attention, and thank you for being here.
So I really need some help.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any further public comments? No other forms, very well. Okay, friends, we've now reached closing comments, which is our next item on the agenda. Do any commissioners have any closing comments they'd like to share today?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Vice Chair.
go green.
They go green. Go blue.
I noticed how you said that very quietly. Secretary Lara.
Thank you. I think it's amazing that the Michigan Civil Rights Commission is celebrating its 60th anniversary this year. But it also makes you think that when it was created, that the hope was that there would not be the need for such a commission 60 years from now. I'm quoting from the very beginning of the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act 453 of 1976. An act to define civil rights, to prohibit discriminatory practices, policies, and customs in the exercise of those rights based upon religion, race, color, national origin, age, sex, height, weight, familial status, or marital status. Our Michigan State Senators, Gary Peters and Michigan Senator Elissa Slotkin, are two of the 16 sponsors of Senate Bill 2212. It's a bill to amend Section 287 of the Immigration and Nationality Act to require all immigration enforcement officers to display visible identification during public-facing immigration enforcement actions and to promote transparency and accountability. Our Attorney General, Dana Nessel, joined a multi-state coalition of attorneys general in submitting an amicus brief which seeks a temporary restraining order to enjoin the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, otherwise known as ICE, and Customs and Border Protection, CBP, from engaging in unlawful stops of Los Angeles residents during immigration sweeps. I'm a native of Los Angeles. And my mother was also born in Los Angeles, and the rest of my family is in LA County. These sweeps targeting people because of their brown skin, people who may appear to be Mexican or Latino, people who speak Spanish or with an accent, are targeted by masked, heavily armed people, are terrifying immigrants and U.S. citizens alike. People are afraid to venture out of their homes to go to work, to school, to shop for food, to attend religious services. It has become so bad that some Catholic bishops have exempted Catholics from attending Mass on Sundays due to fears of immigration raids. It is alleged in the Attorney General's motion seeking a temporary restraining order that ICE and CPB have a policy or practice of engaging in unconstitutional stops that are not based on a reasonable, individualized suspicion of unlawful presence, but instead are based on racial profiling. This has impeded our local law enforcement and has threatened public safety. I bring this up because my concern is that this can happen anywhere in this country, and I want us to be certain to make certain that we are prepared for this and that we are able to deal with protecting immigrants, citizens, even us, from being grabbed, thrown into prison without any access to the outside world. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Lara. Any other closing comments? Seeing none, we now head into the final business of today, and that is to adjourn. And so I just want to let commissioners and members know, as we adjourn this meeting of the Michigan Civil Rights Commission, our next meeting will convene on Monday, October the 27th, 2025, in Petoskey, at a time and a location to be determined. Also, commissioners, I hope that I will see you in about 13 minutes as we enjoy today's department's 60th anniversary celebration. Thank you for all your hard work. Thank you for being here, friends. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Robertson, supported by Commissioner White, that we adjourn. All those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed will say no. The ayes have it, and we stand adjourned. The time is 12:18.